Bulldogs are in their throwback blue uniforms. As Jeff Cross tosses the ball up, Kylie Galloway, Erica Herman are the other officials, and Katie Dinnebeer comes out with it for the Drake Bulldogs to a big roar from the Knapp Center crowd. Becker on top, works it to Ava Hawthorne. Bulldogs think that their pace might be a little faster than Iowa would like to play, and that could be an advantage for them.
Yeah, right now the defense for the Hawkeyes, and they get the steal there, but they're getting out and running. But the one thing that Iowa has been doing better as of late is playing better defense, but they're going to have to get back in transition. And there's Grace Knutson, who we talked about.
Bulldogs have a quick answer from Katie Dinnebeer, or rather from Grace Knutson.
But going back to the pace and the tempo, both of these teams play end line to end line. There's the quick steal that we saw by Olsen getting out running the floor. O'Grady does a good job, as many of their bigs do for Iowa, get out and fill those lanes. But Drake came back with the big answer from Knutson, and you know what? Frankly, she needed that. She's, as I said, has struggled a little bit from deep.
Dinnebeer knocks down a three. And you mentioned Knutson, just 3 baskets in her first 16 tries, so you're right. Big confidence booster for her right there.
And that's probably a confidence booster for Dinnebeer as well. She has put a lot of pressure on herself to start this season, and maybe this is the game where she can settle in and get back to those shooting ways that she saw last season.
Selke finds O'Grady, and O'Grady finds her second basket.
And that's what Iowa does very well, that interior passing, that post-to-post passing. If you don't rotate defensively, they're going to make that bounce pass inside.
Iowa using a man-to-man defense. Ball comes outside to Dinnebeer with 15 on the shot clock. She is being guarded by the defensive Kylie Feuerbach. Hawthorne works it to Dinnebeer. Dinnebeer trying to penetrate, finds an open Anna Miller for 3, and it kicks off, and the rebound is run down by Kylie Feuerbach, the 6-foot senior from Sycamore, Indiana.
Well, they got a nice little pick and pop that time with Anna Miller up top as Dinnebeer drew the defense in with her. She was able to get it out to Miller, but could not connect.
Bulldogs have hit a couple of threes early, and for them, being able to knock down the 3 has to be important, especially with the outstanding interior game that the Hawkeyes had. Here's a takeaway, and then a foul call. Big scramble for the loose basketball. Olsen knocked it away, and then a little overly aggressive in trying to get it back.
You know, we think these two teams, and we see them on the floor, we think offense. But right now, early on, we're seeing some pretty good defense being played, especially by these guards up top, Dinnebeer and Olsen.
No question about it. Drake's played a tougher schedule in North Dakota State, St. Louis, and Creighton than Iowa has in Northern Iowa, except for Virginia Tech and Toledo. But in that stretch, Iowa is giving up only 61 points a game.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job of just collapsing that defense, making it a little better than what it has been the last couple of seasons.
Becker saves the turnover, and Abby Alsma, the transfer from Illinois State, comes in and knocks down the Bulldogs' 3rd 3.
And going back to that point, Larry, of who the teams that Iowa has played, their biggest deficit of the year was 3 points against Virginia Tech. So the Bulldogs able to get a little bit bigger lead, something that Iowa, I know it's early in this ball game, but not accustomed to being down in the scoring column.
Again, it was a post feed, and it got Addie O'Grady her 3rd basket, all the points for the Hawkeyes. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs' points have all come on 3s. Abby Alsma with the drive, the hesitation. Miller now in the lane, spins and leaves it short on the iron, and the rebound is taken down by Sydney Hufalter.
You gotta like the move by Miller in there, but I think O'Grady had the presence in there, maybe backed her up a little bit, and she short-armed that shot, got it off the front of the rim.
O'Grady sets the screen, Stuelke drives and scores.
And that's a different dimension than what we've seen out of Hannah Stuelke over the last couple of seasons.
Katie Dinnebeer lets fly, and she has her second 3, and the Bulldogs are red hot behind the arc.
And that's what they needed. They did not shoot it well against Creighton in their last ball game. And even against the North Dakota State, they did not shoot it well from 3-point. They were able to get the victory in that one, but it was tight. So when Drake shoots the ball well from 3, they are going to be tough.
And Addie O'Grady has 8 of the 10 points for Iowa. At the other end, though, the Bulldogs transition into score.
You can't celebrate after you score against the Bulldogs because they get the ball in so quickly and run the floor. Becker gets down the floor in a great lead pass.
And so we talked about the high number of points when these teams score off of the net center. So far, the pace is blistering. The shooting is outstanding. Not this time, but O'Grady is there for the cleanup. And Addie O'Grady already has 10 points in this first quarter, and in fact, in this first 5 minutes.
Well, career high of 18 points against Virginia Tech, so she's well on her way to breaking that.
Dinnebeer's pass wide of Miller, and the Bulldogs will make 3 changes as coming into the lineup for Drake. Shannon Fornshill will come in. Also coming in, Ava Hawthorne, who did start the ball game. She comes back out onto the court. Iowa now has hit all 5 of their field goal tries.
And this is what you get from the Bulldogs in transition. That is their first look. That's exactly what they like to do. Dinnebeer gets the ball eyes up and looking for one of her teammates, cutting right down the middle.
Stolke on the high post, lobs down low for O'Grady. She still has not missed. She is 6 for 6. Dinnebeer trying to penetrate, stopped by the defensive Affolter. Cutting across the lane, Hawthorne. Bulldogs can't get it to her. So from the outside, the shot fired by Maggie Taylor. It won't go down. Iowa now on the attack. Again, they go inside. Why not? Why not find the hottest player? And right now, the unstoppable player.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to stick it into her until the Bulldogs can stop her. And talk about her not missing a shot in that career high at Virginia Tech. She was 9 of 9 from the floor.
Shannon Fornshell, the sophomore from Minnesota, number 4, catching the ball inside. Now Dinnebeer works her way into the paint. She's stopped, finds an open teammate in the corner, and that is down for 3 by Shannon Fornshell. That is her first 3 of the year, and that her 7th try.
You know, and that's something that Coach Pullman was looking for out of Fornshell. They need some consistency coming in off the bench, and shots like that are going to give those bench players a lot more confidence.
Taylor on the miss, Stolke on the rebound. Stolke last year averaged 14 points a game, averaging 14 points a game this year. Bulldogs will come up with the turnover. Dinnebeer racing all the way to the baseline. Going for the block is Sydney Affolter, and Affolter will be called for the foul. 5 threes have come from 4 different Drake players. Iowa makes the change. Number 55 is Tegan Mullaney, a 6'1" freshman from McFarland, Wisconsin. As going to the free throw line is Katie Dinnebeer, who averages 13 points a game. Last year she averaged 18 points a game, and she has a quick 7 with a couple of threes to go along with that free throw, and she hits another.
You know, the thing, and we just watched that 3-point package for the Bulldogs. The dribble drive, the kick out, the assist. Both of the teams do a very good job of sharing the basketball. Usually are tops in the nation in sharing the ball and assists, and even here today, both teams combined for 11 assists on the 14 baskets.
Olsen, who was number 3 in the country last year in scoring, hits a step-back 3 to tie the ball game at 19. Shannon Fornshell, the sophomore, looks inside, nothing going there. So the Bulldogs work the perimeter. Ava Hawthorne finds Fornshell. Courtney Becker working against the defense of Mullaney. Shot clock goes down to 7, and there is contact, and a foul is going to be called on the Hawkeyes, and they got it on Mullaney. Make it Hannah Stolke, number 45, not number 55. Stolke picks up the early foul.
You know, really good battle inside with Stolke and with Miller. And Stolke's just trying to cut her off, trying to knock her off course as she's making her cut. Just got a little too physical and put Miller to the ground.
Miller from the top of the circle. Its shot rims out and into the hands of Taylor McCabe. McCabe, whose sister plays on the Drake basketball team, known as an outstanding 3-point shooter, and she comes up with the rebound.
Yeah, she had a starting role early on in the season and now back to the bench because of Sydney Affolter coming back into that starting lineup, but she is okay with that. She is wanting to do whatever she can do to help her team.
Miller runs into Stolke. Stolke makes a little contact, and it forces a travel on Anna Miller.
You know, and I think Miller had the right idea. Take it again at Stolke, see if I can get another second foul on her right away. And you can see the step out 3 there by Olsen. but great thought process of trying to pick up a second foul on Stolke.
Olsen averaging 23.3 last year at Villanova, number 3 in the country. Stolke takes it to Miller, and Miller commits the foul.
They spread the floor that time, got the ball to Stolke at about the free throw line, let her put the ball on the floor, and she's facing up a little bit more this season. Can do that, put the ball on the floor. Took it right at Anna Miller, able to draw contact.
When Stolke and Miller match up, both head coaches have some foul concerns.
Yeah, you want both of those players in the ball game, so you know that both of these players are going at one another, going to try to get them into foul trouble, get them onto the bench so they don't have to contend with them on the floor.
Addie O'Grady, who has hit her first 7 shots for the Iowa Hawkeyes, comes back onto the floor after a brief rest, and Taylor Stremlow, a freshman from Verona, Wisconsin, onto the court for Iowa. Iowa's recruiting class, this freshman class, rated number 9 in the country, and all 4 of their players were in the top 100 on the ESPN rankings. Here's the drive into the lane by Knutson, and the rebound is ripped down by Stremlow. Stremlow picked up by Knutson as the Hawkeyes bring it into the offensive end with 1:37 left to play in the first quarter. A drive and a miss, but a chance at the free throw line from Lucy Olsen.
Starting to see the Hawkeyes put the ball on the floor a little bit more, be aggressive, challenging the defense. As Dinnebeer leans in, bodies up on Olsen.
Her first foul, just the Bulldogs' second as a team. Olsen missing at the free throw line. Number 9 all-time career scoring at Villanova, where she played for 3 years, was the honorable mention All-America, was voted the Big East most improved player. From her sophomore year, where she averaged 12 points a game, to her junior year, she averaged 23 points a game.
And that's just a player that goes and works on their game and tries to add different dimensions to what they do on the floor, working on trying to get themselves open, and that's what she did and made herself a better player a year ago.
What a huge pickup for Jan Jensen from the transfer portal. Knutson leaves the shot off. Miller chases it down, and Miller draws the foul as she races in to get the offensive rebound.
Good job of crashing the boards. Miller goes right to the glass, goes strong, and Mulaney just dips those hands enough that she's going to pick up that call. Coach Jensen did not like that call. Looked like she got her across the arm.
Anna Miller averaging 21 points a game, leading the Bulldogs with their first point of the night. Miller, the 6'3" senior from Rochester, Minnesota. As we mentioned, Player of the Week last week in the Missouri Valley Conference. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the MVC. She knocked down both free throws. The game's tied up for the 3rd time. Olsen signals a set play. In the corner, it's Mulaney with a long 3, and the rebound into the hands of Grace Knutson.
They work the ball around the outside of that zone by the Bulldogs, and if you pass it quick enough, you're going to find the open shots. Just like that, you pass it quick enough, you get the good cuts, you're going to find the open shots.
And at the other end, a big play coming from Anna Miller.
Good kick inside, and good passing, good cut behind the defense. Anna Miller went with the hand up, said, this is where you pass me the ball. They got it to her there, and she was able to convert.
There are a lot of coaches in the country who tell their team, cut like Drake. Altima pulls up and leaves it shy. The rebound, the run down by Aggie Taylor. And a foul called on the drive by the Bulldogs.
I think Feuerbach's going to pick that one up as good hustle by the Bulldogs to get that offensive board and reset, but they go quickly into attack mode. Dinnebeer doing what she does so well, dribble drive, get that defense to draw in on her, and then look for an open teammate.
Feuerbach's first foul, but it's the 5th called on Iowa. So Drake is in the bonus for the final 34.5 seconds of the first quarter. Dinnebeer already with 8, make it 9 points. Her season high came in the opener against North Dakota State. Good look at Jan Jensen, the native of Kimballton, Iowa. As Dinnebeer knocks down both free throws, she's in double figures with 10. high-scoring game thus far, as we expected. And the Bulldogs lead it by 4, which equals their second biggest lead. They were up by 5 early in this one.
A little bit of a game of runs so far here in this first quarter. Iowa went on a 5-0 run. Now Drake responds with a 6-0 run. So I think that's what we're going to see throughout this entire game. One team going to get hot. The other team's going to come back with an answer.
3 seconds differential, shot clock, and the game clock as Mulaney misses. Bulldogs have to hustle. Dinnerville will fire from midcourt, and off the blackboard, it did not go down, and the first quarter has come to an end, and it's been a highly contested.
Wear them, and they said that they're going to probably wear them a lot more this season, but credit to Dory Ward. A lot of the things that had to be done back 50 years ago to get a basketball team started and up and going.
Such a difference between then and now, no question about that. Both teams with a different story. The Hawkeyes points have come inside as Stuelke knocks it off the glass and down. And now that's 14 or 16 points in the paint for Iowa. The Bulldogs are doing it the other way, 5 of 11 from the three-point line.
And there's good defense that time on Stuelke, but she's got such great ability to get up over the top of the defense and keeps that ball away from the extended hands of the defender.
Ava Hawthorne knocks down a 3. That's her 6th of the season. And the Bulldogs are now 6 of 12 behind the three-point line.
You know, Hawthorne had a great game against St. Louis in the home opener here at the Knapp Center, so feels very comfortable shooting in these confines.
Again, going inside of the Hawkeyes, and again scoring is Addie O'Grady, who is now 8 of 8 shooting the basketball.
Well, she's chasing that 9 of 9 that she had at Virginia Tech, and you have to believe that the Hawks are going to continue to go into O'Grady until the Bulldogs can figure out a way to slow her down.
Maggie Taylor, the freshman from South Dakota, tries to drive the baseline and draws the foul in the process.
Cut inside by Taylor, trying to go with the reverse layup. Challenged O'Grady, and O'Grady just flattened those arms out, didn't stay vertical, and picks up the foul.
And O'Grady has her first foul. Taylor from Rapid City, South Dakota, went to Hill City High School with a graduating class of under 40. So that meant if you wanted to play AAU basketball, you had to travel a long way. And thanks to her mom, she did. 5-hour one-way to practice with her AAU team.
That is dedication and the love of the game and wanting to play. And that's exactly what that family did, as they developed Maggie Taylor into a really great player and has a lot of family support.
She knocks down both free throws, will now leave the Bulldog lineup, and Courtney Becker comes back onto the court. Falter works it on the near sideline to McCabe. The lob comes inside once again for O'Grady. Grady, a really good passer on the post. That time the ball mishandled, but picked up by Olsen, and she pops it in anyway. Once she found the handle, she knew what to do with it.
Found the handle, a couple of dribbles to get the defense off of her, and able to shoot a little bit of a fadeaway. And you can see she shoots the ball a little bit behind her head, so it's really tough to block that shot. Gonna get a chance to see Olsen right here as she picks up the ball and knocks that little mid-range jumper down. And the ball going out of bounds, but the Bulldogs retain possession.
O'Grady with the block that time on Miller, and that gave Drake the possession. Bulldogs try to expand a three-point lead as Dinnerbeer finds Becker looking for a three ball. Not this time, and the rebound is captured by Taylor McCabe. McCabe coast to coast with it, will bring it back out. McCabe really a reputation as a great three-point shooter. Gives it up that time. O'Grady spins on the high post. Driving is Olsen, leaving it short. Anna Miller's defense had something to do with that, and she plucks down the rebound. Dinnerbeer chases the basketball down. Dinnerbeer and Miller, a little one-on-one game that time, but Miller misfires on the layup. A three-ball try won't go by Lily Olsen, and the rebound once again taken by Anna Miller. Miller big on the boards for the Bulldogs in this one. That already her fourth rebound. There's the charge. Courtney Becker called for the charge for Drake, and a look at chagrin as she gets up and didn't agree with the call from Erica Harriman.
Get a look right there as Olsen just standing, waiting to play defense. Knew that Becker was coming, not looking at her, but looking to see where Dinnerbeer was. was bracing herself for the contact, but able to pick up a quick one.
McCabe steps out of bounds. The ball will go back to the Bulldogs on the turnover. That the fourth turnover for Iowa. The Bulldogs have turned it over 3 times. On the season, Iowa turning it over 12.7 per game, and the Bulldogs 4 turnovers more than that, and that could be a key factor today, too.
That's something that has plagued the Bulldogs over the last couple of years, is the turnovers. Taking care of the basketball is a big key factor here in this ballgame.
Dinnebeer down the lane. She got past Olsen, but is unable to finish. O'Grady and Miller battle for the rebound. Tie ball, and it will stay in the Drake end.
Normally Dinnebeer able to convert on those when she gets the step, splits the defenders, just left it a little short, but what a battle on the boards between the two bigs.
Abby Osgood back onto the court for the Bulldogs, along with Grace Knutson. Also, it's Miller and Dinnebeer and Becker. Dinnebeer works her way down the lane, feeds on the baseline to Miller, who travels. And again, she's going against Addie O'Grady, who is 6'4", and Anna Miller is 6'3". O'Grady a little bigger, though, a little broader, and maybe that's causing some issues for Anna Miller early.
I think she just needs to get her feet set, and they didn't allow her the time to get set in the post. They got her the ball right away very quickly, could not get that footwork right, and shuffled the feet.
Kylie Pureback back onto the floor for the Hawkeyes. Baseline feed, Stolke. Stolke gets inside Miller. Miller goes for the block and gets a piece of it.
That's what she's known for in the post area, and defensively has those long arms, able to block shots.
Led the Valley with 91 blocks a season ago. And there is a move by Becker, and she has called for her second foul. And they've both been at the offensive end.
Trying to drive the baseline side, calling for the ball. Thought she had the step on Stolke, as Stolke slides over and draws the contact.
So Becker will now come out of the Bulldog lineup, and Shannon Fornshell comes in to take her place. Scoreboard's been stuck here at 30-27 for a couple of minutes now.
And we had that flurry at the end of the first quarter. Both teams knocking down shots right and left, and now it's been a little cool on both ends.
Olsen finds O'Grady. O'Grady hits the basket, but they're going to rule traveling, so take the basket away. And there was contact there with Miller, but the travel nullified it.
Well, both post players know the presence behind them defensively. They know, O'Grady knows that Miller's behind her. They're just trying to gain the advantage, trying to get the best angle. And so occasionally you may try to shuffle the feet to get an advantage.
It's a fine matchup, isn't it?
It is a great matchup.
Shannon Fornshell, top of the circle for the Bulldogs. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Hawthorne finds Dinnebeer. Dinnebeer works against the defense of Olsen. Dinnebeer with 4 seconds on the shot clock takes it to the rack and draws the foul. Dinnebeer, some nice hesitation, then she made her way down the lane, and she will go to the free throw line.
That's something that she's so good at with the ball handling skills, that little hesitation, driving in, finding the seam, and able to draw the contact on Stolke. And prior to that possession, the Bulldogs had had 3 turnovers in their last 4 possessions, and that was something that we talked about, is you've got to keep those turnover numbers low. Iowa on the other side, they had 3 straight turnovers on their end, so both teams not handling the ball very well here over the last couple of minutes.
That was Stolke's second foul, so she leaves the lineup, and Addie O'Grady comes back in to take her place. Dinnebeer has hit all 5 of her free throws. She is one of the top free throw shooters percentage-wise in Drake career history at around 85+%, and she knocks them both down, and the Bulldogs equal their biggest lead of the afternoon. Hawkeyes shut out the last 3 minutes. Olsen trying to change that off balance, but she draws the foul, and Lucy Olsen will go to the foul line.
Olsen bringing the ball down the floor. They spread the floor for her. She sees that opening and able to go up against Tayden Gray as she puts up that shot, gets a little body contact.
Gray's first foul. Olsen knocks down the free throw. Averaging 17 points as a Hawkeye. So far as a Hawkeye, 19, 20, and 14 have been her performances this year.
Well, as you had mentioned, a very good pickup for the Hawkeyes, and she is fitting in a little bit different system than what she is used to, and they ran at Villanova, but she is quickly getting used to the style and the system that they want to play here at Iowa.
Gray looks outside for Knutson, leaves the three ball short. Mullaney runs down the rebound. At midcourt, she hits Taylor McCabe. McCabe covered up by Knutson. Down the lane comes Feuerbach. Offensive rebound by O'Grady. Feuerbach for three. O'Grady had another offensive rebound, and Gray is going to be called for the foul if they come up with a win. Big celebrity in the crowd right there. I see several of them. Lisa Bluter, of course, Caitlin Clark, and Jenny Fitzgerald.
Yeah, we got, they were all back. Lisa Bluter and Jenny Fitzgerald back for the celebration last night. 50 years, and Caitlin here, hometown girl, watching the Hawkeyes play, and after a fantastic season in the WNBA, Rookie of the Year.
And Jenny Fitzgerald, so much a part of the great success the Hawkeyes had, has retired after last season when Lisa Bluter retired. O'Grady with an offensive rebound. Miller contests it, and Miller gets it back for the Bulldogs. Both teams have been on a drought. No field goals for Drake in almost 5 minutes. And for Iowa, no field goals in the last 41. Iowa's missed their last 6 shots from the floor, and the Bulldogs have missed their last 5.
Yeah, and that is not something that you'd expect out of either of these teams. They are very efficient from the floor, but defense may be kicking in, and maybe a little bit of the nerves kicking in as well as they finally break the ice and get the ball into O'Grady.
O'Grady muscles in for a shot that time, and O'Grady red hot, now 8 of 9 from the floor, 16 points. The ball knocked out of bounds, and it will belong to the Hawkeyes as the Bulldogs have turned it over for the 7th time. Iowa has 6 turnovers.
And they go inside. O'Grady doing such a great job of positioning her line. Has that quick first step and can drive right by the defense. Now we're going to get an offensive foul, I believe, on Ava Hawthorne.
For Ava Hawthorne, it'll be her first foul, and for the Bulldogs, it's foul number 4 here in the quarter.
We'll talk about Kylie Feuerbach and what she can do. Just kind of faces up, looks off that defender, and then that explosion. She puts the ball on the floor to get to the rim.
Hawkeyes lead by 1. Iowa on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Olsen brings it outside. Feuerbach looking for 3. And the rebound is pulled down by Addie Alsma, the transfer from Illinois State, where she was a 2-year starter. Lob comes inside to Miller. Miller, backdoor cut to Courtney Becker, and she will go to the foul line with Mullaney committing the foul.
Again, the transition for the Bulldogs. They get the ball inside. Miller calling for the ball, immediately looks for the cutting Becker. And a great interior pass. She threads the needle on that one to get it over to Courtney Becker.
Becker just 2 points so far today, but maybe over the first 3 games the most consistent of Bulldogs.
Yeah, averaging 15 points a game over the first 3. Had 21 points against Creighton, 8 rebounds to go along with that. And that's something that she's done well her entire career, is go to the glass.
And that's what she's averaging, is 8 rebounds a game. And hit 72% of her shots prior to today. And that shot knocked down by Lucy Olsen. Olsen with a 9-point first half.
And you can see how quick that release is when she gets it off the bounce, gets that ball up high, and the quick release.
Bulldogs on a scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes. They have missed their last 8 shots, and the Hawkeyes now on an 8-0 run. 2.5 left to play, first half. Mullaney drives the baseline, puts it up too hard. The battle for the rebound, and it's knocked out of bounds by Iowa. It'll be Drake basketball. 2:25 left to play in the first half.
Just that dribble, that crossover, quick elevation, and gets that ball out of her hands quickly.
She's been, we mentioned, great acquisition thus far for the Hawkeyes. Not only leading them in scoring, but also in assists. Here's Olsma draining a 3 for the Bulldogs. Drake has just knocked down their 7th 3 of the first half. They are 7 of 16 shooting the 3 ball. That ties the score.
A good job of dribble penetration and then looking for the open player. And Tegan Mullaney able to find her way and muscle her way in.
Her first basket. Here's Miller coming the other direction against O'Grady. And Iowa knocks it out of bounds. Change for the Bulldogs. Grace Knutson, who hit her first shot at night. The 3-ball comes in. Ava Hawthorne will leave.
Dribble drive and the kick out as Abby Alsma sets up, knocks down a big 3 that the Bulldogs much needed.
Now Drake needing a 2 to tie and a 3 to take the lead with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. And there's an offensive foul. Katie Dinnebeer called for her second foul.
Dinnebeer shaking her head, does not like that call as she tries to drive in. Feuerbach slides over, a lot of contact. And she gets the call. And
in an era when it's getting more difficult to draw a charging foul, an interesting call. The turn by Olsen and the hit by Olsen. It starts to skim out. It comes back in. And Lucy Olsen in double figures with 11 for Iowa.
You know, it's really plagued the Bulldogs as they had that shooting drought just a little over 7.5 minutes. They missed 8 shots during that time.
Miller missing it badly. Becker tries to save it and can't. Drake now just 1 of their last 11 shots. Mullaney drains the 3-ball. Mullaney, whose season high came in the opener of her first college game, 14 against Northern Illinois, hits a big 3 there. Becker drives the lane. Becker leaves it short. Bulldogs now 1 of their last 12 shots from the floor.
And I think the Bulldogs are a little out of sorts. They need to get back and regroup and get set on the offensive end. They are allowing the Hawkeyes to get some separation here.
And Mullaney drains another 3. She'd only hit 1 in 10 tries prior to today and has knocked down 2 in a row.
And that's what she's known for. She's got a quick trigger and she can knock them down when she gets hot like that. She can knock them down in bunches.
Hawkeyes explode to a 10-point lead, and the Bulldogs play for the last shot of the half. Almost a takeaway. It's loose on the floor. Picked up by O'Grady. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Mullaney again misses a 3-ball. And the Bulldogs and the Hawkeyes, a spirited first half, a high scoring.
I didn't read that far.
Okay, I didn't know that either. Bulldogs in their sort of throwback uniforms. Again, newly designed, but throwback uniforms. And the Hawkeyes with the possession to begin the second half. Bulldogs started this game red hot, 6 of 10 from the field, but 3 of their last 19 as the Hawkeyes solidified their defense. And going inside is Hannah Stolke. And once again, the Hawkeyes connect in the paint.
And Stolke is so quick. And when she gets that first step and gets around the defender, there is no stopping her.
Becker shows it, drives, but doesn't get it. Now the look by Grace Knutson. Miller runs down the long rebound for the Bulldogs. Inside it's Becker, covered up by Stolke. Bulldogs desperately needing to get some offense going, and it doesn't happen this time. And Drake just 3 of their last 20 shots from the floor and 1 of their last 13. O'Grady's going to get the charge.
Well, and the Bulldogs had a 7-minute and 30-second drought to end that second quarter. 7 turnovers, and among those 7 turnovers, 3 charges called, and there's a charge going back the other way as Katie Dinnebeer sets up and waits for the impact.
Dinnebeer, who plays with no fear, although she gets up holding her lower back a little bit, plays with no fear, as per usual, bounces right back up despite the hard contact.
Yeah, she seems to shake things off a little quicker than most.
Dinnebeer looking inside, nothing going. Becker, again, picked up by Stolke. Dinnebeer working against Feuerbach. Shot clock is at 10. Becker drives baseline. She's cut off. Ava Hawthorne slices inside, and the shot rolls out. Rebound by Miller. It won't go. And the Bulldogs just having some bad shooting luck right now. Here's Olsen lining up for a 3-ball. It doesn't go either.
Well, I think the presence of O'Grady in the middle has altered some shots for the Bulldogs.
Dinnebeer tries to end the Bulldog drought. She can't do it. And the rebound run down by Lucy Olsen.
And Bulldogs they're playing the tempo they want to play, but they're maybe playing a little too fast.
And that Hawkeye defense has been very, very special. Stolke, O'Grady on the miss, and Hawthorne on the rebound.
Well, you see the double team, and Stolke's so good at noticing that and then making the pass across, but good defensive adjustment by Anna Miller, and then another quick turnover by the Bulldogs.
Again, the ball in the post to O'Grady. She tries to hit a Falter coming across, who mishandles it, but gets it back. And then a violation spotted out on the floor, and a foul call on the Bulldogs.
Grace Knutson had the assignment on a Falter. And a Falter moving one way, reverse move the other way, just trying to make the move up to the hoop. Knutson reaches in, picks up the foul.
Senior against a freshman.
Yeah, and you could see, I mean, a Falter knew exactly what she wanted to do, how she was trying to break her down.
A Falter brings it on top to Feuerbach. Down low it comes to O'Grady. Miller watches her. This time O'Grady chooses to pitch it back outside. The shot clock goes down to 10. Olsen drives the lane, gets all the way to the rack, loses it. O'Grady, though, picks it up and puts it in.
O'Grady picked it up with Miller in her face, able to adjust the shot in midair.
It's a career high for Addie O'Grady. She had 18 against Virginia Tech, has 20 in this one.
A high-low game for the Bulldogs, which we have not seen a lot of here in this game against the Hawkeyes. This time it usually goes guard to big on the inside, but it's Anna Miller up top making the nice feed to Dinnebeer.
A desperately needed basket by the Bulldogs, ending a long drought. Just their fourth basket in the last 21 tries. And Dinnebeer goes to the line, where so far so good, perfect at the free throw line. And the story remains the same, and she has 15 to lead Drake in scoring. But nobody else close to double figures right now for the Bulldogs, and that's what they need, some more offensive punch. Inside it's O'Grady, this time on the miss. Gets her own rebound, and the foul is going to be called. And did they get Miller or did they get O'Grady? And I think they got Miller, and they did. And Miller with her second foul.
It's been a battle all day long. You can see Miller leaning in and just trying to reach for the loose ball.
There's an inch in height difference between the two, but a strength difference that favors O'Grady.
And they might be taking a look at something. There might have been an elbow. I'm not sure if it's a clock issue or an elbow that they're looking at that might have from O'Grady into Anna Miller's chin. I don't know. I think maybe that's what Coach Pullman is asking for.
Jeff Cross explaining what he saw. No indication yet of anybody going to the monitor, though. Meanwhile, a change for Iowa. Taylor McCabe, the junior from Fremont, Nebraska, comes in. And her younger sister, a member of the Drake Bulldog basketball team, who's not yet seen action today, Peyton McCabe, also from Nebraska, obviously, and she hasn't seen action. She's still recovering, although mostly 100% from having her appendix removed back in the early part of the school year. And now the officials, I think, are going to discuss it. They are going to go to the replay monitor. And so both teams check to their respective bench check. Now, head coach at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Jenny did a really nice job of building up the program, and Allison Pullman was right at her side as they were building the program up. Had that long undefeated streak in the Missouri Valley Conference play, and then moved on to Oklahoma, but laid some nice groundwork for Allison Pullman to continue on the legacy.
Again, the Sooners, number 9 in the country. Iowa with the basketball, 18 on the shot clock. 7:15 left to play in the third quarter. Hawkeyes up by 11, their biggest lead. In the middle, they find Stulke, and as Stulke goes to the basket, they won't count it. Violation against the Hawkeyes, and that will be for Iowa. Just their 9th turnover of the ball game compared to 11 for Drake. So both teams done a pretty good job taking care of the basketball considering the pace. Dinnebeer looks for three, hits the three.
Calmly took one dribble to the left, get in rhythm, and knocked it down, and that's just tough to defend right there as O'Grady pinned down Anna Miller, and they got her the ball.
Quick shot from the other end by Alsman doesn't go, and the Hawkeyes race up the court. McCabe looks for her first three of the afternoon. Back-to-back threes by Iowa, and they expand the lead to 13.
Well, they have the outside game to go with the inside game, which makes them so tough, and when they get hot from the outside. They are tough to stop, and they have had some players come off the bench to knock down some big three-pointers.
Dinnebeer falls down, gets the ball to Alsma. The ball knocked loose on the floor again. We have a tie ball. And this time the possession arrow will keep it at the Drake end. Reminds me of a Lisa Stone story. Can you tell it quickly about Wanda Ford grabbing a rebound, playing against Lisa Stone at Iowa?
Yeah, one of the questions asked last night was, can you remember anything from when you played at Iowa against Drake? And she said, yes, I remember grabbing a rebound and got tied up with Wanda Ford, and I was hanging on for dear life, and all I remember is being picked up and spun around by Wanda Ford, kind of like a helicopter.
That kind of reminded me of that last play. Anna Miller takes it to the paint, and Anna Miller draws the foul. That's a great story. Olsen with her second foul as Miller will go to the line.
Put the ball on the floor, nice crossover move, and able to get some contact on the arm and get to the free throw line.
Miller averaging 21 points a ball game, hits her 5th of the afternoon. She becomes the first Bulldog other than Dinnebeer to score in the second half. One more for Miller, who's just a rebound short of 3 double-doubles in 3 games to start the season. She hits both free throws. Tegan Mullaney, the freshman from McFarland, Wisconsin, comes in, who really heated up and knocked down a couple of threes and a 2-pointer in the waning moments of the second quarter as part of that Hawkeye 24-10 second quarter run.
You can tell how cold the Bulldogs have been and have struggled from the outside. They had a lead in the first quarter of 25-21. They struggled in the second quarter and here in the third quarter as well, and that's how the Hawkeyes were able to get this lead ballooned out.
McCabe got her defender Alsma into the air and then traveled.
And sometimes you just get those happy feet when you know you have that opening, you know that nobody's going to be defending you, and you shuffle the feet before you get that shot off.
Nice pass by Dinnebeer to Miller, but she's called for the double dribble, and the swap of turnovers that goes back to the Hawkeyes. Brooklyn Daly seeing her first action for Drake, number 22. Sophomore from Pleasant Hill, Iowa, went to Southeast Polk High School. McCabe gives it up from Mullaney. Inside, it is Stokey. Tries to get around Miller. Miller goes for the block. Miller takes it away from her. What a defensive move by Miller.
Boy, Stokey tried to make that crossover move, and Miller stayed right with her. And then how about the big bucket by Dinnebeer?
And Dinnebeer makes the Hawkeyes pay by nailing a 3 and cutting the margin back to single digits.
18th career 20-point game for Katie Dinnebeer. First time this season she's cracked the 20-point barrier.
Dinnebeer looking for 2 in a row.
Getting the crowd all fired up with those back-to-back threes. It's kind of shooting that the Bulldogs were looking for.
12 in the second half and 24 in the ball. Dinnebeer, the Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference, won the Jackie Stiles Award last year, and a leading candidate this year is she's the preseason Valley Player of the Year. Bulldogs on an 8-0 run with 4 baskets in their last 5 tries. O'Grady on the miss, and the rebound taken down by the freshman, Maggie Taylor.
Very rare miss for O'Grady, but Taylor did a good job of holding her own.
Becker on the miss, but she will go to the foul line. Contact against the Hawkeyes, and that's called against Mullaney. That'll be her 3rd foul.
Bulldogs work that high-low game. Becker gets a little separation, calls for the ball, and Mullaney picks up the foul.
Becker with 2 points thus far today, but 0 of 3 from the foul line. Bulldogs coming back from 14 down to within 5. And Becker brings them to within 4.
Bulldogs on a 9-0 run right now.
Lob inside from McCabe to O'Grady, and O'Grady continuing to set the pace for the Hawkeyes with 24 points. Iowa comes up with the steal. McCabe gets the ball on the baseline to Mullaney. Mullaney drives against Taylor, count the basket, and the foul called on Taylor.
lot of contact, but a good steal by Olsen. They tried to trap her in the corner. The play continued. They go up the ball over to Mulaney, who muscled her way in. Going to get a look right here at the steal. You don't pay attention, and Olsen right there to get the steal. Tries to get around the defense, and then Mulaney with face up, give a little pump fake, and then takes it right to the hoop.
And how about the play of...
Like her coming off the bench. She's a big guard, and on the outside has range, can do a lot of different things. We've seen her shoot the three from deep, but she's also a guard that can post up.
Dinnebeer to the line for the Bulldogs. She misfires for the first time today. Dinnebeer had knocked down her first 7 free throw attempts before missing that one. She now has 25 points, her career high 32 against Murray State last season. Now Drake possesses the basketball in the technical. Becker, Hawthorne, Taylor on the court for the Bulldogs, along with Alsma and Dinnebeer. And Dinnebeer misfiring from 3, but Drake gets an offensive rebound. It's loose on the court. Olsen has it, driving in to tie her up is Taylor. And it's a tie ball, a jump ball, and it'll go back to the Hawkeyes. Anna Miller back in for the Bulldogs.
You know, the one thing that Maggie Taylor needs to learn when she gets a rebound, don't get rid of it so quick. Take a deep breath. Make sure you know where the defenders are. I know you want to get it out of your hands and get things reset. But you got it out a little too quick, and the defender's right there in the passing lane.
Pretty typical freshman mistake.
Yeah, and it is, because you want to get things going again, and you want to get the offense moving. But sometimes just take that 1 count, 2 count before you kick the ball out and get things back up to the point guard.
McCabe guarded by Alsma. The ball goes inside once again to Stuckey, and she's able to hit. Stuckey with the basket. That is 9 points for her, and they've all come inside the paint. And Drake called for the foul.
Stuckey is so good. Right at the free throw line, works her way in. And when she gets up in the air, you're going to get a chance to see how she can get that ball away from the defender. Has a little soft touch, a little baby hook, if you will, to get it off the glass.
Last year, she set a record at Carver Hawkeye Arena, scored 47 points in a ball game, and it lasted exactly a week. And then Caitlin Clark scored 49 a week later against Michigan.
Yeah, well, it was quite a performance by Stuckey. Had a chance to watch that one, and she just could not miss.
Anna Miller looks for a 3 ball. The long rebound comes to Kylie Feuerbach. Iowa had the lead shaved to 4. They built it back up to 10 with 3:20 to play in the third quarter. O'Grady slips it behind her back to Olsen. That combination has been successful for Iowa several times this season so far.
And it's the staple of their offense. Those big guard or the big posts do such a good job of interior passing, and the cutting is so good.
A reach-in foul going to be called on Feuerbach. Iowa will commit their 5th foul of the quarter, and Drake will be in the bonus.
Get a good look at this as O'Grady posts up, makes the cut just right there, and just leaves it for her, just drops a dime for her. She's right there to pick it up and go to the glass.
Dinnebeer's season high 19 at North Dakota State prior to her performance today. And that is point number 26 for Katie Dinnebeer. She has the only baskets for the Bulldogs here in the third quarter. The others have come at the free throw line. But Dinnebeer with 27 points and 15 in the third quarter, keeping Drake alive. O'Grady falls down as the pass was intended for her. Anna Miller picks it off. 3 try, nothing but cord for Grace Knutson.
That's where Knutson is really good in transition like that. Catch and shoot right away. You saw her get the feet set and launch the 3-pointer.
Olsen drives the baseline. Now Stuckey will try to penetrate. Punched away from behind, though, by Dinnebeer. Bulldogs come up with the turnover against Iowa. Dinnebeer makes a quick move on Feuerbach. Miller on the post, works against O'Grady, misses the shot. And a tie for the rebound between Hawthorne and McCabe. And this time the Bulldogs get it on the alternating possession.
And Hawthorne doing a great job of getting in there, hustling, and there's a good look at what Knutson can do. She is that kind of a pure shooter, able to get it in rhythm and launch it very quickly.
This has been a terrific basketball game. It's gone back and forth. Hawkeyes have built that 14-point lead. Bulldogs cut it to 4. Now the Hawkeyes a moment ago back up by 10, and now the Bulldogs have cut it to 7.
The high gear right
Can't
there.
help but be impressed. But started to mention Drake's schedule. They went to North Dakota State. That's a good team. Played St. Louis, and they were the WNIT champs a year ago. Played 21 Creighton on Monday, and now against Iowa, and then they go to Iowa State next Sunday. Miller having a tough day shooting the basketball, being intimidated by the size of a Mulaney and also a Stolke. Here's Olsen having the shot blocked. Stolke with the offensive rebound, and she draws a foul. And the officials are spotting a lot of contact right now, and they're making the calls.
Yeah, on the inside, the drive and the block. I think Miller got a piece of that. And then I believe she got a piece of Stolke.
Actually, it was Hawthorne. Ava Hawthorne
Okay.
getting the call for the foul. And at the free throw line, it's Hannah Stolke.
Well, you had mentioned it is frustrating for Anna Miller down low in the post on both ends. And she's having trouble. She's shooting the ball fast, and she's being intimidated by Addie O'Grady, Hannah Stolke on the inside. Again, it's kind of one of those things where you just need to take a deep breath. Don't shoot it as quickly. Go ahead, go up under control.
Dinnebeer knocked down, will shoot 3. Foul called on Kylie Feuerbach. Anna Miller, meanwhile, 1 of 13 from the floor. A very un-Anna Miller-like performance.
But the thing about Miller is we get a look at the shot and the contact afterwards and sends Dinnebeer to the line. Miller, yes, she's frustrated, but she keeps going end line to end line, gets back down, hustles down to play defense, is playing hard and trying to do other things to help her team to win, even though she's not scoring the basketball.
Dinnebeer, 28 points, and 16 of them here in the third quarter, and the only Drake baskets here in the third quarter. One more for Katie Dinnebeer. This would give her the second 30-point performance of her career. And she gets the roll. And Drake fights their way once again back to within 5 at 64-59. Sellout crowd at the Knapp Center. They're seeing a good one. McCabe left open, and when she has left that open, more likely she's going to hit it. Here's the steal by Iowa coming back with it. Mulaney will fire, and she'll bank it in. Back-to-back threes in about 10 seconds for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, and that's one of those that adds insult to injury, is you give up the bucket, and then you give up the steal, and then you give up a banked 3. You know what? It's okay if it's just a regular 3, but when it's a banked 3, it's a little bit more of a dagger. And there's the first one up top by McCabe. And the Bulldogs just not paying attention when they inbound the ball. The Hawks have been able to get a couple of quick steals. And right here, filling the lane and giving it to Mulaney off the glass.
So a timeout with 1:21 left to go in the third quarter. And the story of the third quarter has been one where the Hawkeyes have spurted to a double-digit lead. The Bulldogs have cut it to 4 or 5, and then back-to-back threes by the Hawkeyes. And once again, it's a double-digit lead for Iowa.
Yeah, Hawks made 6 of their last 7 shots and really have had a 6-0 run in the last 11 seconds.
Ball kicked by Iowa. 21 seconds on the shot clock for the Bulldogs with 1:12 to go in the third quarter. Inbounding it, the freshman from Cedar Falls, Iowa, Grace Knutson, who led the 5A ranks in Iowa in scoring last year, averaging better than 20 points a ball game. On top, Alsma lobs for Miller. That was an almost impossible pass to complete.
Yeah, she had a defender in front of her and a defender behind her trying to thread the needle with that lob pass. Very tough to do.
Miller bats away the ball intended for Stolke, but they're going to call her for a foul as well. So with one hand she batted the ball away, but with the other hand she made contact with Stolke.
See Stolke getting low, getting a good base, and then Miller coming around. Maybe he had that arm wrapped around the waist, and that's where she gets called for the foul.
The junior from Cedar Rapids, Washington High School, misfires on the free throw. She's averaged 14 thus far for the Hawkeyes this season, has 9 as we near the end of the third quarter. She's in double figures. And for the Bulldogs, Peyton McCabe will make her first appearance. And again, her sister Taylor McCabe plays for Iowa. Peyton from Nebraska, freshman from Blair, Nebraska. A takeaway coming up from a falter. Another Bulldog turnover in the third quarter. Those turnovers have been especially costly because they've been loose ball turnovers that allowed Iowa to score. Here's Mullaney falling back and not getting the bounce on the three. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Iowa. Bulldogs have it with the shot clock off and 26 seconds to play in the third quarter.
The Hawks are happy to have a falter back in the lineup after recovering from that knee injury, and she really came on strong at the end of last season and helped them make that run as Molly Davis went down with an injury. She played a big key in that run for the Hawkeyes last season.
Coming off a double-double against Toledo with 16 points, 11 rebounds in her first start of the season. McCabe looks for some help. On top, it's Becker. Dinnebeer slips the pass inside to Miller, batted away. Dinnebeer takes it back up, puts it up, misses the shot that draws the foul.
Well, if nothing else, Katie Dinnebeer has created a lot of things for herself and been aggressive off the bounce, got that loose ball there, tried to get the and one, but is going to go to the free throw line for 2.
Hannah Stolke with the foul, her third. Both teams have now put the other in the bonus, but we're down to 4.9 seconds left in the third quarter, and this is the player the Bulldogs want at the free throw line. And as I say that, she misses for just the second time. She has been at the foul line a bunch today. She knocks down the free throw. The Bulldogs cut the margin to 11. 4.9 to play as the Hawkeyes have Olsen into the front court. She'll fire a deep three. It's in and out. And at the end of 3 quarters of play, Iowa with an 11-point lead.
So need to be a little more efficient than that. They've made their runs here in this ball game. So they need to have a consistent run to climb back into this one.
Dinnebeer 19 of the Bulldogs' 25 third quarter points. Play continues in the fourth, and once again a whistle and once again a foul.
It's going to be on Brooklyn Daly, and right there you can see how quick Stolke is with that. She gets a little ball fake and gets that quick first step to get around the defense.
As you saw the line on Stolke, another solid performance by the junior Hawkeye. 13 points now for her. So Stolke and O'Grady inside. That is a combination of 38 of the Hawkeyes' 73 points.
Yeah, they've done a good job of pounding the ball inside, working it inside out.
Brooklyn Daly looks on top. Here's Ava Hawthorne trying to go down the lane, running into traffic. And a foul is going to be called on the Hawkeyes. O'Grady called on the foul. Make it Hannah Stolke, and that'll be her 4th foul.
Going right into 2 defenders, and a lot of contact there. Stolke gets called for the block. I'm not so sure on that one.
Interesting call as Stolke now with those 4 fouls. Jan Jensen will take her out of the lineup. And coming back in for the Hawkeyes will be Olsen. The free throw by Hawthorne. And she has trouble connecting at the foul line. And the Bulldogs needing to hit some free throws. Just 7 out of 14 from the free throw line. Into the lane comes Olsen off the front of the iron, and the rebound to Maggie Taylor. Taylor lobs inside, but Miller got knocked down by Mullaney.
Trying to work that high-low game again. Taylor looking to get the ball inside to Brooklyn Daly. There you can see Daly posting up, trying to get the edge. And Mulaney a little too physical.
So now Mulaney will join Stolke on the bench with 4 fouls, and Taylor Stremlow, the freshman from Verona, Wisconsin, part of this number 9 rated Hawkeye freshman class in the country, will come in. Here's Daly looking for the long 3, and the rebound is run down by Sydney Hufalter. Lead feed to Olsen, lobs for O'Grady. O'Grady gets pushed and counts the basket. 26 now for O'Grady.
As O'Grady was running the floor, right here she looks, and then she just gets separation, turns and looks and calls for the ball. She knows exactly where she is on the floor, gives a hand and said, give it to me right here, lead me to the basket.
And O'Grady with a career best 26 points and counting. 27 now for the Hawkeye senior from Aurora, Colorado. And Iowa has their biggest lead of the ball game at 16. Miller turns, faces, and having a tough shooting day, that continues. Brooklyn Daly gets the rebound and gets clobbered. Not intentionally, but she got hit hard.
Going up for that rebound and got from the other side. As she gets into position, that ball comes off the rim and just kind of underneath. Got hung up.
Stremlow on the foul. Hawkeyes forced way out and trying to be aggressive. Hufalter trying to get the ball back, and she commits a foul. Hufalter with her second foul. And that's already 4 fouls in this quarter against the Hawkeyes. And of course, the Bulldogs will be in the bonus on the next one.
Right here, just a little too aggressive, and starting to see the Hawkeye defense do that a little bit more this season. Be a little more aggressive on the defensive side of things.
What Jan Jensen talked to us about earlier today. They've always been a team that could score a lot. She's just trying to reduce that difference between what they get on offense and what they give up on defense. So it's not necessarily that the style's a whole lot different. Dinnebeer for 3, not there. Becker gets the rebound, takes it away from Stremlow.
Bulldogs really working hard on the offensive glass this possession, and that's something to give themselves extra possessions.
Miller cuts to the basket, and Miller, she just puts her hands on her forehead and said, I don't know what's going on with me today.
And she recovered quickly as O'Grady hustled down and was trying to get into position, and she's just frustrated.
Just 1 out of 16 would frustrate anybody, including a very talented first-team all-conference performer like Anna Miller. O'Grady has it taken away by Dinnebeer. Now there's a big scramble for it, and the officials will umpile. And this time Drake gets the possession arrow. We've had a few scrums on the court today, haven't we?
We sure have. Good help by Dinnebeer coming in, helping out on the front side, getting the loose ball and getting the tie-up.
13th turnover against Iowa. The Bulldogs have 17. Turnovers, though, pretty even as far as points off turnovers. Just 20-18 in favor of Iowa. 7.5 left to play. Hawthorne inside for Peyton Gray. Bounce pass back to Dinnebeer, and it hangs on the rim. It does not go down. The Dinnebeer does, and she will now go to the foul line.
Peyton Gray did a great job. She was looking for the ball. Then she was trying to say, no, don't give it to me, but she got it. So she got herself into a position where she faced up and looked for a teammate to cut and led Dinnebeer with a great pass.
And now Dinnebeer back at the free throw line where she is 14 of 16 on the afternoon. She must be tired by now.
I think all these players are tired just with the pace of this ball game.
That her 15th free throw of the ball game. A 15-point Hawkeye lead, 7:23 to play. Iowa will make a change as the Johnston native Jada Jimfy comes in, the junior from Johnston, where she won a state championship in her senior year. Seeing action, averaging 3.5 points per ball game. Inside, it's O'Grady. She misses. Becker pulls down the rebound. The Bulldogs come up the court with just over 7 to play, down by 15. Ray on the post. The ball slipped away from Hawthorne, and the turnover will give it back to Iowa. And really some ragged play now by both teams late in the third and early in the fourth.
And I think that's just the fact that they've been running so hard for 3.5 quarters. You just wear down, and then mentally you make some of those mistakes.
McCabe giving it up for Offalter, who takes Becker to the baseline, or rather Daly, I should say, to the baseline. But the loose ball, another turnover by Iowa. Here comes Dinnerbeer back the other direction. The ball is loose, but it's scooped up by Knutson.
A great hustle by Brooklyn Daly to keep that ball inbounds and keep the possession for the Bulldogs. Gray has a mismatch down low, and they couldn't get her the basketball.
Outside for Dinnerbeer. She pushes it up under pressure, and she gets fouled once again. She goes to the floor, does not get the basket, but will again go to the foul line. But Katie's paying the price by hitting the floor a lot today.
Yeah, she is, and gets inside, makes a move, step back under, and as O'Grady leans in, Dinnerbeer goes to the floor.
Number 3 on O'Grady. Bulldogs in the bonus the rest of the way as Dinnerbeer connects on the free throw line. Dinnerbeer may be nearing a school record for free throws made.
Well, she just tied a record or just passed Jan Jensen, who made 17 in a game, and now she is tied with Becca Hittner at 18 in a ball game.
And that is the school record, 18?
Now she's got one more, I believe, to go. The record
but I mean,
is 22.
Okay, 22.
Lori Bauman.
Take away Becker. Finish Becker. Drake back to within 11, and Jan Jensen wants a timeout. She may want to slow the pace at this point with 6:03 to play, and her team holding on by an 11-point margin.
Record for consecutive free throws made.
Hawkeyes at 76 points. When they score 80 since 2020, their record is 94-14. They're not going to get one this time because that ball sails over the head of O'Grady, but a foul spotted on Drake. Taylor with the second foul for her, and the Bulldogs committing just their third here in the quarter. So Hawkeyes not ready to shoot free throws yet. Olsen inbounds. O'Grady, who the Bulldogs have forced to take tougher shots, and she has not been as effective in the second half as she was in the first half when she exploded for 18. Here's Olsen cranking a three that is a little bit short, and the rebound taken by the Bulldogs. Taylor got it, and then it was scooped up by Becker. Deep three, won't go that time by Dinnerbeer. Dinnerbeer on a career best 34 points today. And Taylor with her third foul. One more, and the Hawkeyes will be in the bonus.
Yeah, and that's a player that you want to get the ball to is Dinnerbeer, who's been so hot here in the second half. Want to keep her with the ball in her hands, keep her shooting.
Lucy Olsen with 14 points today in double figures, all 4 games as a Hawkeye after transferring from Villanova, where she was number 3 in the country in scoring. Pass goes inside from Olsen to Stokey. Stokey, who'd been on the bench for a while with 4 fouls. Bulldogs try to answer quickly and can't from Knutson. And the Hawkeyes come up the court as we go under 5 minutes in regulation in a 13-point Iowa lead. And a foul is called as going to the baseline was Offalter.
We get both teams running up and down the floor, making the quick transition with the crossover dribble, and Offalter just leans in, gets some contact from Becker.
Her 4th foul. So both teams in the bonus, the final 4:54. We've talked about the number of times that Dinnerbeer has been to the foul line. As a team, the Bulldogs have been there 32 times and hit 24 of them. The Hawkeyes, on the other hand, now 10 out of 16 from the foul line, with that miss by Offalter. Offalter yet to score today until now. Becker on the high post to Miller. Miller puts the ball to the court. The kick Bulldogs now have to go into a hurry-up offense. They've got not much time to make up a 13-point deficit, make it a 14-point deficit.
And Iowa has gone into a zone that has really bothered the Bulldogs.
Daly with a miss, Miller with a rebound. Becker goes to the floor trying to get the pass from Miller. And it's going to be out of bounds off Drake. Hawkeye ball with 4:25 to play. And again, when they score 80 or more, they are 94-14, and their next point will give them 80 points. Both teams come in averaging basically 85 or 84 points per ball game. So we expected a high-scoring game. That we got, as that three knocked down from Taylor McCabe. She's hit 3 threes all in the second half. The Bulldogs try to answer with a three and cannot.
They're just coming up short. I think they've got some tired legs and have not been able. They've got some open shots, have not been able to knock them down and get the answer.
Olsen racing down the floor with the rebound, and Jan Jensen patting her hand towards the floor, saying, let's slow it down, let's slow it down.
Yeah, you have some time now. You can use a little clock, and you've built up a little bit of a lead, so take some time off the clock and work it till you get a good high percentage look.
Olsen gives it back to O'Grady, and O'Grady misfires. The offensive rebound by Hufalter won't go, and the Bulldogs come up the court. Dinnebeer being challenged by Olsen. Becker fires long. Bulldogs shooting in the second half has really hurt them. They've just not got the shots to go down like they were in the first half. Dinnebeer with a miss. Offensive rebound, Becker. She misses. Miller chases down the rebound. Bulldogs a third chance at it. Daly will fire. And the rebound cleared by Stuelke.
You just can't find a bucket here for the Bulldogs late in this quarter.
They've missed their last 9 shots.
Yeah, they've been getting some good looks, just to come up short, and that tells you that they're a little bit tired.
Hufalter pulls up on the dribble. Olsen lobs for O'Grady, gets inside Miller. Miller knocks the ball away from her. It's loose, picked up by the Bulldogs. Becker went to the floor to push it over to Dinnebeer. Miller looks for 3. Just not her shooting day. She will probably never in her career have a worse shooting day than she's had today.
And she just needs to forget about it, put it behind her. And you can tell if you just look at her, she's just frustrated walking off the court as Coach Jensen calls a timeout to talk over this last 2 minutes and 22.
And that will leave her with a couple. Allison Pullman on the Drake bench has 3. And let's take a look at Jan Jensen. What a career she had at Drake University, where she led the nation in scoring in 1991.
Yeah, Jan was certainly a great scorer, did a lot of things very well, rebounded well, just was one of those players that understood the game and knew how to play it. And there's a reason that her jersey has been retired and is hanging in the rafters.
And what a special day that all 3 of those retired jersey players are in the house today.
Yeah, it was something special, and we did last night at the event celebrating 50 years of basketball have a little panel discussion with those 3 players, and it was great to hear what they had to say. And
if you saw Wanda Ford at halftime, I know you enjoyed her conversation and how much Drake University means to her. From the projects at Cleveland to basketball stardom at Drake. What a story. Hawkeyes playing the clock now with this big lead with 2 minutes left to play. Shot clock's down to 2, down to 1. Shot taken by Olsen at the buzzer, and it knocks in.
Did it just the way you draw it up as a coach. You work that clock down, get that shot off right before the buzzer.
And the deep shot won't go by Altima. The follow shot is there by Becker. In this fourth quarter, prior to that make, the Bulldogs were just 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter and just 6 of 22 for the second half. Stuelke and Becker make contact, no foul call there. O'Grady looks for someone to pass to. McCabe back to O'Grady. And inside, the foul. And that will be her 4th foul. So Iowa's going to end the ball game with 3 different players with 4 fouls. And that's the thing about having a bench. You got some depth to withstand that.
You do have the depth, and so you have some fouls to give and some fouls to play with. And you can interchange a lot of those centers off of the bench, and that's what they've been able to do. And if somebody's not having a great game, you can go to somebody else. If somebody gets in foul trouble, you have another option off the bench, and they have several players that can play that post position very well.
O'Grady leaves with 27 points, a career best for her. Bulldogs, meanwhile, just 1 of 11 down the stretch here in the fourth quarter. Dinnebeer gun. Dinnebeer gets. Katie Dinnebeer with a career high for her, 37 points. 32 her previous career high. But too much Dinnebeer and not enough help from others would be the story for Drake this afternoon.
Yeah, just could not get anything going on the inside. No interior presence. Relied a lot on the three-point shot. And it served him well in the first quarter. But in the second half and late in the second quarter, not able to get those shots to fall.
Lucy Olson with her 18th point. She is something else. Again, we said it earlier, what a find from the transfer portal for Iowa.
Yeah, it's been a great pickup and somebody that can score in a lot of different ways.
Dinnebeer with 40.
What a performance by Katie Dinnebeer, and she's hands on knees as she's worn out as she's tried to carry her team to victory. Just didn't have enough in the tank and needed some help from some of her other teammates.
So the Hawkeyes will go to 4-0 on the young season, heading for a date with Kansas at the Sanford Pavilion in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Wednesday. The Bulldogs will go to 2-2, headed for a date with the 8th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones next Sunday afternoon at Hilton College.